This is going to be my comparison of the Bodyguard 2.0 by Smith & Wesson against the Ruger LCP Max in the micro compact 380 market. I've had plenty of time where I carried both of these pistols and shot them a ton, as well as my experiences with both LCP Max in comparison to the Bodyguard 2.0. I will have to say right off the bat, I do prefer the Bodyguard 2.0 easily for a number of reasons compared to the Ruger. So I owned this Ruger first before the Bodyguard 2.0, and carrying it for over 6 months, I love it compared to the P365, Canik MC9, Taurus GX4. The micro compact 380s interest me because of their width. Being able to conceal carry this in a t-shirt in hot environments and it being lightweight compared to a micro compact 9mm is the reason why I looked at the 380 in the first place. The very fact that you can have less than 1 inch width, as well as having a weight unloaded less than 11 ounces, is wildly attractive in comparison to the MC9, the P365, the Taurus. All these compact 9mm micros usually weigh around 17 ounces. So it's going to be around 8 ounces less. That's going to be almost twice as light as a micro compact 9. And the difference when you do hold this fully loaded compared to a 9mm is a world of difference. Ruger, I carried it for 6 months, functioning flawlessly. Ammo, hollow points, ball, function flawlessly. Now, when people say that pocket 380s recoil more than the 9mm, I will have to disagree. The reason why I disagree is because they aren't wrong that it might recoil more for them, but that's probably because most micro 9mm have more purchasing on the grip for their hand. So usually with the micro 380s, usually like with the LCPs, the original LCPs, they're only going to have you enough room for your hand, but not enough room for your pinky. The LCP Max has the little extension where it comes standard, and that provides me enough room to be able to get a full purchase on the grip. And in comparison to even something like an MC9 by Canik, I will say that the Canik recoils more than the LCP Max. And if we're talking about concealed carry pieces, honestly, like the price of 380, it's a non-issue. Most people that do shoot 380s in comparison to 9mm, they're going to be doing it because of how it functions and how it serves them every single day. The price of 380 being maybe 10 cents more for a full metal jacket is a non-issue, because really, honestly, if you're able to land hits on target and you carry this every single day compared to a 9mm or a 45, honestly, just go with a 380, because you're going to be carrying it every single day. And that's the entire point of having a concealed carry firearm, is that you carry it every single day versus carrying it maybe on the weekends, or maybe once a month, or maybe once in a year, or leave it in your car. It's called being a responsible gun owner. And as far as 380 not having stopping power, there was a study done a while back ago on over 1,000 self-defense shootings in the United States, or just shootings in general. And they compared all the calibers of 9mm, 380, 40, 45, and they found that for the calibers less than 380, they did have a substantial drop-off in one-stop shot encounters, as well as how many shots it takes to end the encounter. And 380 was able to keep up with 9mm, 40, and 45 in how many rounds it took to be able to stop a threat, which is usually more than one. And the only difference between really all of those calibers for handguns is that they pale in comparison to lethality of, let's say, a rifle or a shotgun, because a rifle or a shotgun is going a lot more faster than anything a 9mm or a handgun can produce. A shotgun has 9 pellets going at over 1,500 feet per second, and a rifle, especially an AR-15, is going over 2,500 feet per second. Now, if you don't know anything, there is a video by Federal or CCI where they put out a video on, it was a video by Lucky Gunner. They put out, the statesman made a statement that handgun rounds generally are not going to create the same effect as a rifle because they are not traveling over 2,200 feet per second, where that amount of speed in a projectile will create permanent hydrostatic shock. So in essence, a handgun is not going to provide that same lethality. So if I can have the benefit of minimum penetration, 12 inches, and have the lightweightness and the thinness, the width, it's going to be a no-brainer for me in what caliber I choose. And there's nothing that a 9mm can kill or put down that a 380 couldn't. And that's my main argument with going with 380. LCP Max comes at $250 for the price, and Bodyguard 2.0 comes at $400. So aside from that tangent on my philosophy on why and how I choose the firearms that I choose for my needs, I'm going to get into the Bodyguard 2.0. So the Bodyguard 2.0 in particular, I got the one with thumb safety. Right off the box, this handgun right here was massively difficult to manipulate. Both the slide, especially the thumb release, I had to use two hands when I initially got the Bodyguard 2.0. Trigger is amazing. So the trigger, and I have a lot more other pistols like the PDP, which has one of the best triggers stock on the market, the Walter PDP, and compared to anything else. This, I would say, ranks pretty near it. It's not as good as the Walter PDP, especially on the reset, but unloaded. It's got a fast reset, and that's what I like about it compared to the Ruger. So this pistol, the Bodyguard 2.0, it has the high beaver tail, it has a low bore axis, it has the great trigger, it has the ergonomics swell versus this where it's a little bit more blocky in the grip, and I do feel it. Better trigger. Magazines are held 10 round standards, but it does come with a 12 round extra magazine, which is a benefit, versus the Ruger only comes with one. So it comes with an extra 12 round magazine, which would be good with some people that would need more extra room for their hands. They get an extra grip. And my philosophy is that I like to fulfill multiple roles if they can for a handgun, or just firearms in general, for anything really. With the Smith & Wesson, with its capacity, the trigger, what I liked about it was how absolutely pointable it is when I just point it and the sights are already aligned, at least for my body mechanics. It makes it a no-brainer. The recoil, both on these, is amazing. That's why I love it, is that it has very fast follow-up shots, light recoil, and the minimum penetration for lethality that I would consider in a handgun. Width, it's going to be pretty much thinner on the Bodyguard 2.0, I believe 0.88 and 0.98 for the LCP Max. So width goes to the Bodyguard 2.0. Sights, honestly, they're going to be about the same. They're both serrated rears with tritium front. This one comes with red, this one comes with green. And I'll say that's a draw. Ergonomics will go to the Bodyguard 2.0 easily. Bore axis, Bodyguard 2.0. Price, Ruger LCP Max at $250 versus $400. But honestly, with the melanated slide, the easy takedown where you only need to essentially retract it back and pull down the slide, this have the slide stop retracted, and then have the takedown lever down, take it down, strip it down, boom, and your gun is disassembled like a Glock or a Smith & Wesson M&P, like any other big polymer pistols. It takes down very easily without a tool compared to the Ruger, which does require a tool of some sort to engage that pin right there, which could be lost, by the way. So that is another con of the Ruger. Barrel, good on this, both same barrel length. As far as with the Bodyguard 2.0, I did have some issues with loading the 12-round mag. What I've been experimenting was trying to resolve that issue was after the third round. What happens with the Bodyguard 2.0 was that it gets hung up on the third round because the follower catches on the lip right there that engages the magazine button. So that would be one issue I've encountered. As far as stiffness, they were both stiff right out of the box. Really difficult to actuate the slide or the slide release. This one does have an actual slide release where it's on an empty magazine, it does hold back the slide. The Ruger does not hold back the slide. You have to manually actuate the slide stop. So that's in con with the Ruger. Ruger, so far so good with the ammo. Initially, when I was beating the Bodyguard 2.0 just for function testing, it did get hung up on some ammo within the first 5 rounds, but that wasn't at the range. That was just me testing out how it fed through the barrel. But as far as both at the range, both of them function flawlessly with hollow point ammunition as well as full metal jacket. One note I do want to make about the ammunition was some people have reported the Spear gold dots hung up in their Bodyguard 2.0, which is interesting to me because usually Spear, especially the gold dots, are really reliable. Myself, I function tested it with Federal HST, essentially under this brand CCI. So CCI both owns Spear gold dots as well as Federal HST, the line of self-defense ammunition tested in the Bodyguard 2.0. Okay. Tested multiple brands of ammunition. Tested some Monarch, which is Brazilian. I'm assuming it's similar to MagTech. That's one brand of ammunition I tested. Tested some PMC bronze 90 grain, function flawlessly in that. Tested some Blazer ammunition, 95 grain. Obviously some Federal HST for self-defense ammunition, function good with that. Had some Hornady as well. These are XTP rounds, which are really good. If you look at some of the data on hollow point ammunition, the XTP rounds penetrate but expand as well. They do not expand as good as HST from the testing data I've seen recently in the last 12 months with other people testing it. The HSTs do penetrate a minimum of, they do meet the minimum FBI 12 inches. So that's why I got the HSTs, was that they expanded really well to 0.5 diameter, even more so. Versus the XDPs, they don't expand as well, but they do get good penetration. And so far, what I've had to say is that I would definitely choose the Bodyguard 2.0 over the LCP Max. Even with the higher cost, it does come with an extra magazine. The finish matters to me as well. Good sights, really great trigger compared to the Ruger. And the Bodyguard, the safety is a take it or leave it. The extra magazine is also a pro, but honestly, it's the pointability. The pointability of the Bodyguard 2.0 by Smith & Wesson can't be overstated enough by me. Something I don't see what other people talking about is how pointable it is. It's just so pointable. And with the low bore axis, it's more like a push. I was practicing some drills where I was shooting it one-handed. It was so easy to shoot this thing one-handed, and in some situations for self-defense, you may have to employ in very close quarters a one-handed draw from retention, I wouldn't recommend it, because usually in a situation where someone has a drop on you, you shouldn't draw from retention. You should be looking for your opportunity to do so, but you shouldn't be drawing when you were caught against an adversary who already has you in their sights. You should not do that. But in some situations, you might have to draw this one-handed and fire it one-handed, and doing so with the drills I was running. The Bodyguard 2.0 was more like a pushback. It was very light recoiling compared to anything I've shot before. And in comparison to LCP Max, the LCP Max was much more snappy. It's really soft still compared to micro compact 9mm, but it was still having more recoil with a higher beaver tail compared to essentially the Bodyguard, with is very low bore axis, the good trigger, the pointability. It's just an overall complete package for me, and I will carry this from now on. And that's my comparison of the Bodyguard 2.0 by Smith & Wesson against the Ruger LCP Max. Please share your experiences. If you have any questions on the issues you've experienced with your Ruger or your Bodyguard 2.0, please leave a comment so I might be able to respond, perhaps give you some advice on it, because there were a lot of issues with a lot of people with the Bodyguard 2.0 when it was released. I had some issues with the magazine, with the disassembly, how difficult it was to actuate the slide and safety when I first got it, as well as the stiffness with the Ruger LCP Max. Please, I'll put an update fairly soon, and please, if I don't respond, don't take it personally. I do work, so I'm pretty busy as it is, but I will take some time to help those that need help. Anyways, have a pleasant evening and take care wherever you are. Stay safe.